Yo, if y'all really want to understand what's currently going on in the Oval, you gotta binge watch Ruthless. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now before I get started, let me send a special shout out to Metro Health DC. If you are in the DMV area and you're looking for quality health care, reach out to Metro Health DC today. The number is in the description box in the comment section, and there's also a form in the description box and comment section that you can fill out, and someone from the outreach team will be in touch with you. Also, let me send a shout out to GMHC, which is Gay Men's Health Collaborative. If you are in the DMV area and you're looking to get tested for HIV, reach out to us at the GMHC crew for a home testing kit. You can have the kit mailed to you, or you can call the number in the description box and the comment section to make a same-day appointment where you can come to our location to pick one up. And if you're interested in PrEP, which is HIV prevention medication, reach out to the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of your boy here at KRSTV and would like to become one of my Black Diamonds, subscribe to my Patreon today. Black Diamonds, because in darkness we still shine. For $5 a month, you get all of my YouTube content as well as videos that are for the Black Diamonds, that some of them I would share on YouTube just to give everyone an idea of what the Black Diamonds is all about. Also, reach out to my YouTube partner, BK WorldTube, which is the Black Netflix. You get shows like The Oval as well as The Haves and the Have-Nots. So after you watch this review, click that link in the description box and comment section to check out BK WorldTube. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing every single episode of this show, but I wanted to do a review of it because I have literally been binge watching this show over the weekend, and I must say I was rather intrigued, and it's given me even more of an understanding of what currently is going on at the Oval, because pretty much this show, Ruthless, is a spin-off of the Oval. At first, I really wasn't feeling it. You know, it didn't really catch my interest at the time when it first debuted. But I actually have a coworker at work who talks about this show, and it's like one of his faves. And his excitement made me actually check it out. And I must say, I was gagged at some of the shit that's on this show. I actually watch it on BET Plus because BET Plus, you get everything. They do premiere it now on BET and BET Her, but if you really want the explicit content, you know, the stuff that makes you go like, what the fuck? You definitely need to check out, you definitely need to watch the show on BET Plus because BET Plus gives you everything. But pretty much, Ruthless is about the Rakadushi cult. Y'all remember seeing the Rakadushis on the Oval, and now this show is literally about their world in this compound, and I think it's Rockwell, Virginia. And you know, it follows Ruth, who's the main character of the show. You know, Ruth is actually the baby mother of Barry and the mother of Callie. And we saw where her, along with the other Rakadushis, literally ripped Callie from Nancy's arms, who is Callie's grandmother. And now they're showing, you know, what happened after that. Like in the first scene, while they're in the car, you know, on the way to the compound, there's drama inside the car involving Daikon, who pretty much is like the right-hand man as well as the lieutenant of the highest. And Daikon literally gets into it with Tally. Y'all remember Tally from season 1 of The Oval. She literally blew her brains out in Richard and Nancy's house, literally right in front of them. So we're seeing that Tally is literally the punching bag of this organization. And literally while she's driving, Daikon punches her in the face, which causes them to get into a wreck. Then tells her she got to find another car. She goes into this old white couple's home and steals their truck. We later find out that that couple also has a connection to one of the characters that is now on the Oval. And then all of a sudden, you know, once she gets back, she's punished severely. She's beaten with these sticks. It was just disturbing of how badly Tally is treated. And the reason is because Tally is really starting to open her eyes and see the bullshit of what this whole situation is, because they all follow the highest, whose real name is Tyrone Luckett. He's a former criminal who literally created this whole movement where he can live like a king and suppress everybody that's in, you know, this organization called the Rakadushis. And literally has created his own religion, uses his position to manipulate, to rape, to screw, and to destroy anyone that doesn't go along with his program. So it's crazy because, like, when you see the highest is something else. He has this aura about him, but later on in the episodes, you really see how much of a fragile piece of crap he really is. Not only is he a junkie, but he literally rapes all of the men, you know, within the organization. And you know, when Ruth was becoming an elder, which was like a promotion for the women, because they really look down on women. Women's role is literally to clean up after the men and to bear babies. That's their view of women. The women are evil, incarnate, and they need to be controlled. So that's kind of like the narrative of how they think of women. And Ruth is a hustler. You know, Ruth was a former prostitute and drug addict, and so was Tally. And we later find out that that money that's in Barry's house is actually Ruth's money. That's money that she made while she was like a drug smuggler and a prostitute. And she stacked a lot of money and hid it, you know, and hid it inside of their home. So, we see that she's becoming an elder. She gets bathed and she's thinking that this is a glorious moment until she gets into that coronation where she gets in the room of 7. And it's 7 men who are butt ball naked, and they all have to take turns having sex with her because the highest wants her to produce a child. And she's resisting at first and everything. And of course, anybody who's got any sense of mind or intelligence would resist that shit. But he literally throws her past onto her that you went out here and you screwed all these men for money. You can't do this for me. And then he said that, but she said, I thought it was just going to be with you. Because she admires the highest. And she likes the fact that he smiles down on her. But he said that, no, you're not going to have sex with me. But all of these men in this room carry my seed. And I'm like, what the hell you mean by that shit? Oh, later on, he was talking about, you know, they all the men was like, Daikon was telling one of the guys, Andrew, who's actually an FBI agent who's literally been compromised because he's literally got sucked into this shit. He's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And he was like telling Andrew, like, are you ready to be cleansed? Being cleansed means being sodomized by the highest. And literally all those 7 men all had sex with the highest, or the highest has put his seed inside of them. And that's his way of saying that you are having my child because all of these men got my seed. And I'm like, oh, you sick piece of shit. And literally all of these men took turns having sex with Ruth. And he says he wanted her to have a child and he wanted it to be a girl. If you want to please me, you have to bring forth a child. And we also found out a lot of other stuff going on. Like, one, Andrew is actually having a secret love affair with Tally, and Tally is actually pregnant with this child, but Tally's getting all of this abuse, physical, emotional abuse, and she's pregnant with Andrew's child, but nobody knows. The only person that knows about their interactions is Ruth. So that was interesting. Then we also, I'm pretty much now just going to talk about people who are in the compound. Then I'm going to talk about people who are outside of the compound. So then I talked about Andrew, who was an FBI agent who pretty much is compromised. Because you could tell him and Daikon do not like each other. And Daikon is vicious. He is literally like a lieutenant in that whole compound. He don't have no emotions. He don't trust nobody. He is overly aggressive and overly suspicious of everything. Because his whole life is the highest is everything, and he will do anything to protect the highest. And also, he's in love with the highest too. So, yeah. But you can tell he can't stand Andrew because the highest takes a liking to Andrew. And he tries all kind of stuff to kind of try to like put it to the highest that, can Andrew be trusted? But the highest is like, I already know about Andrew. Leave him alone. He's your brother. And it's just hilarious because Daikon don't trust a motherfucker. He don't trust nobody. And he don't want nobody having access to the highest but him. So we got, Andrew, who is an agent that was sent in there to pretty much try to break the investigation or to expose them, but he's been corrupted because a part of him wants to stay there and live this life. He wants to stay there with Tally and wants to have their child. But we later find out that Andrew has a wife outside of this whole compound and has a son. And I'm going to talk about his wife, Sarah, in a minute, but we literally see that Andrew got a hell of a lot going on, child. And then for him to be in that room of the 7, you had to take the highest seed. And trust, honey, he did. I mean, at one point we saw him peep into the window and he saw the highest pretty much sodomizing this young boy, which made him sick. But yet he ended up getting sodomized by the highest his damn self. So he's doing any and everything to kind of stay in good graces, because you're literally walking on eggshells every single day in this place. You can make one failed step and that's the end of you. And that's how evil this whole compound really is. Then I'm going to talk about that damn Marva. Marva is the elder mother of all of the women. She runs the women. And not only that, she is the pharmacist of the damn compound, because she drugs everything. She drugs the food, she drugs the drinks, she's giving people herbs and comes up with all different kind of shit, to keep people controlled. And that's her main role. And she just has this very creepy demeanor about her. But the actress Lynn Odoms, she does a phenomenal job playing this character, because that damn Marva is one piece of work, child. And the highest loves her. She's the only one that didn't go through that 7 men ritual. He actually met her in DC. She was like a computer analyst, and he met her at a coffee shop, and that's how he recruited her. And she was like the first woman recruited. So she pretty much rules and controls the women, and she keeps the women at bay. But her little damn outbursts sometimes be having me rolling. I'm like, that damn Marva is a hot ass mess. And she's forever trying to push some drug or some type of potion on someone. Like, for example, Y'all remember that girl that in the Oval that we thought was Ruth that was in the morgue? Turns out it wasn't Ruth. That girl was named Mercedes. She was actually a part of the Rakadushis because they saw her talking to a cop. They pretty much burned her with acid, which Marva made Ruth do. And then they killed her, and they gave her the exact tattoo as Ruth, so people would think it was her, so therefore no family or friends will go looking for her. And they do that to a lot of them, you know, to the outside world. They're dead, so therefore no one will actually come looking for their asses, which I think is crazy. Like, who else I want to... So mainly those are the people that I want to talk about that's actually a part, some of the main characters that are within, you know, the compound that are a part of the Rakadushis. And we even also see Dale, who is now on the Oval, and as a matter of fact, the truck that Tally stole, you know, from this older elderly couple are actually Dale's parents, and they totally reject him because he's gay. And we see that Dale is working at this grocery store where the Rakadushi shop at all the time. And I think one of the Rakadushis constantly goes over there to talk to Dale. And I think his name is Oliver. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. But you could tell Oliver got like a low-key crush on Dale. But I think after Dale had that falling out with his family, I think that's what prompted Dale to say, I'm done, and that's what made him move to D.C. Because it's Rockwell, Virginia is a small town with old traditional values that they will not change. I mean, even though his co-worker accepts him and he accepts himself, his own mother and father don't. And his father was just an evil bastard. Like, tell him, you need to go to church so you can get rid of this thing that you're doing because it's against the Lord. And then he asked, so Dale pretty much brought groceries and had them and pretty much brought them to the house to deliver to his family. And then he asked his father for the money. His father said, he threw the money on the table like, there, you can grab it. There it is. I'm like, you evil piece of shit, that's your child. But it just goes to show you that you got a lot of families who are so hell-bent on their beliefs and so hell-bent on how they perceive the world that they will throw away their children if their children don't follow in line to what they believe and what they practice. Which is fucked up. And evil. So, we got all this going on, you know, within this show. Then we also meet in this series. We meet, what's his name? Let me find him. Oh yeah. Then we also meet Agent Brian Collins, who pretty much is an FBI agent who's pretty much being sent in. He's one of the best FBI agents, and he's being sent in because Andrew was the agent they sent originally, but he got compromised. And pretty much Mac is pretty much the head of the FBI, and he's the one running the investigation. Mac gets on my nerves because Mac is literally sending all of these agents in there to try to break up, you know, the compound, but you're literally putting them at risk, but you're also putting their families at risk. Because Andrew's wife, whose name is Sarah, she's frantic and she wants her husband back, but she literally goes to the compound and damn near gets herself in the line of trouble. But at this point, Sarah don't give a shit. She wants her husband back. And we also see that Brian Rollins, his wife is named Lynn. Lynn used to be, she's pretty much a teacher, but she also used to be an investigator as well. Not FBI, but she used to be a cop. So, while they are literally getting it in the bed, and trust me, child, ooh, Brian and Lynn were getting it in. And then Mac literally comes there, you know, totally busts up their groove and lets him know that he wants him to be the next agent to go into the compound to find out what's going on because Agent Andrew was compromised. Oh, Lynn was not here for it because it's like every time you turn around, she pretty much has to go along with what Brian does because Brian's an FBI agent. You know, his position changes. He got to move and has to relocate and a lot of times has to go undercover. And Lynn is just at this point where she's just over it. So she looks through his file and finds out about the Rakadushis. She thinks it's wise to take her ass down there to act like she's investigating. Oh, Andrew was the one that greeted her at the gate, lured her in there, then made her drink this shit, you know, which pretty much fucked her up. And next thing you know, she's blurry. She can't see nothing. Then the highest comes and starts blowing all of this different dust at her, you know, different colors like green and yellows and purples, and to the point that she's completely covered in all this shit. She's so out of it to the point where she's literally unresponsive. And then next thing you know, Brian comes home to find her finds her in the bedroom surrounded by roses, and she's completely knocked out. They take her to the hospital, find out that she has had multiple hallucinogens in her body. LSD, PCP, heroin, anything you can think of, she was given that. And then on top of it, they found bruising on her inner thighs, so means she was taken to the circle of the 7. And then because she's gotten all these drugs, later on we see that she still keeps in contact with Daikon. And Daikon, it was a name that she said in her sleep, and Brian caught it. And then later on, I'm gonna get to that too. But then all of a sudden, he puts, you know, she looks in her jacket pocket, the same jacket that she was wearing when she went to the compound, found Daikon's number. Her and Daikon going back and forth having conversations. And even on the piece of paper, he told her to lick it. She licked the shit. Bitch was out of it again. And then she kept calling because I'm like, that bitch was looking for a high. So like, they done literally turned the agent's wife into a damn junkie. And they keep trying to lure her into the cult, but she doesn't want to go. I don't know about that. And he's like, look, I ain't giving you no more favors. Because Daikon is trying to lure her into the cult so she can be another mule for the men. And Lynn is just getting on my nerves because Lynn ain't really peeping the bullshit. Like, girl, you went there and you were drugged. And then it's still the point now she's now being very antagonistic against her husband because she's not happy with her life. And she's now taking it out on him. But really the problem is not your life. It's the problem that you got sucked into this cult when you should not have went down there. You went down there without no damn backup and you got caught the fuck up. And now you want to blame Brian for that shit? No, boo-boo, that was your decision. You chose to mollywop your ass down there to the Rakadushis, and they fucked you up. And now you a junkie, and you constantly itching for a fix. And that's pretty much what it all comes down to. And we see that Daikon is a whole ass mess. Because we've recently been seeing him on the Oval, but we literally see how Daikon moves. Daikon is like a smooth fucking criminal. Like, he will appear in your house. He will, and he just has this very calm demeanor when he's on the phone. Yeah, it's Daikon. Like, he just be giving that shit all the time. But I have to say, Lenny Thomas plays the fuck out that role. Because that damn Daikon is a hot ass mess. Then we also meet Lynn's cousin and also best friend, Cynthia. And she's played by Bobby Baker. And we've seen Bobby Baker in some of other Tyler Perry productions as well. But Cynthia is actually married to another FBI agent named Malcolm. And Malcolm is a whole asshole. He treats her like shit. You know, damn Cynthia's an alcoholic. Every time you come around, she want a damn drink. It be in the middle of the damn day. She gotta have a bottle of wine. And she just be getting fucked up. And it's because she's miserable in her marriage. And we come to find out that Malcolm is in love with somebody else. But trip this. he's in love with Cynthia's best friend, Sarah. The same Sarah who's married to Andrew, who's another FBI agent who's pretty much trapped up in the Rakadushi cult. And you would just see him constantly pushing up on Sarah, and I'm like, Malcolm, you ain't shit. Like, you really gonna do that to that woman? And then at one point he had told her, you're too fat. You know, your body just turns me off. And Cynthia looks good. And I'm like, Malcolm, you ain't shit. You just doing all this shit so you have a reason to keep going after Sarah. But Sarah don't want him. They did fool around once, but Sarah is in love with Andrew. But little do you know, baby, Andrew been compromised. And Andrew done got a whole damn thing going on with Tally. And he wants to be with her. So Sarah is just like, boo-boo, you're literally, you in love with a man who don't love you back. Sorry, bitch. I mean, but then also the crazy thing too is how like, you know, Sarah and Cynthia are like besties. And Sarah knows that her husband, that Cynthia's husband is in love with her, and she's literally seeing Cynthia just drink herself crazy because she's miserable. And she's asking everybody what's going on. You know, is Malcolm seeing somebody? Because every time Malcolm come in there, he starts an argument with her, which is kind of like a telltale sign something ain't right. So that shit was just crazy as hell. So we see all this shit popping off, and then like also the fact that Callie, who's Barry and Ruth's daughter, she's being put into the cult, and she's, you know, got to get along with all the other kids. And, you know, I can probably sense that she is being controlled and abused and probably being locked up and stuff like that to make her behave. Because that's what they do. They will do anything to make you go along with their program. So now she's playing with the other kids. And we see that Ruth is worried about her. You know, every time she sees Callie. But now that she's an elder, she doesn't have access to the children. Only Elder Marva does. And she's like, oh, don't worry about her, child. She's going to be fine. She's doing ratherly well. And I'm like, Marva probably doing all kind of fucked up shit to Callie. That's why I'm like, Ruth is a selfish bitch. Because why would you bring your child to a place like that and inject your child to that all because you wanted the kid and you didn't want Barry to have her? When Barry had more of a stable living situation for her than what you've introduced her to. So we can say that, yeah, Ruth is selfish as shit. She's all about herself. And she's got a hood mentality. But I like Ruth of how she's very level-headed and she's always calculating moves to survive. Because literally, it's kind of like a do or die situation being in the compound. One small step can end your life, or it could get you severely punished where you're brutalized. Like there was this young boy who they had literally locked into like this it was like a safe or whatever. You know, they literally had him locked up in there. They brought him out to dress him up like as a girl so Daikon can talk to the police as to why this guy's truck was stolen. And if anything, Tally risked her life doing that shit, but then Tally got in trouble because the guy ripped a piece of Tally's robe. So Daikon plays damage control. He puts that same robe onto the little boy to have him act like a girl, to go there, to pretty much be dressed as a girl, and then present him to the sheriff as well, to the couple who ended up being Dale's parents, and pretty much said that he was a young teenager. This is my son. He made a mistake and he's sorry and he will be dealt with and all of that. And then the next thing you know, Daikon brings the boy back, and then the next thing you know, you see the highest. You ready to be cleansed, boy? And the next thing you know, we see him literally raping the young boy, and it was really graphic. And I was just like, wow. And now we see the boy. The boy is like literally traumatized. So I'm saying there's a whole bunch of crazy shit that goes on up in the Rakadushi cult. And the reason why I watched it was because I wanted to get more of an understanding of what's happening now on the Oval. And definitely check out my review of the Oval. I'm definitely about to do it right after this video. But yeah. And then we see that Agent Rollins, you know, pretty much because they want to try to get they want to try to get to Andrew because Andrew hasn't been checking in at all. And Mac is really trying to run this operation. And I'm like, Mac, you are a fucking idiot. You are literally putting these men at risk. And it's like, did you study Jim Jones, bro? Did you study the People's Church? And did you study that compound they had in Guyana where that senator went in there and then before they could leave, they were killed, as well as some of the other members who wanted to leave. And then he ended up killing everybody. So I'm just looking at this and I'm like, Mac, you do not realize the forces of evil you are dealing with. And because, you know, the whole compound is anti-government, anti-establishment. It's their own little world, but it's their world where they are ruled and dictated by one person. And he's not a sane person either because he's a damn drug addict and he's also a rapist and he's pretty much he's pretty much gay. Because he don't have sex with none of the women. He only has sex with the men. But puts himself out that he's kind of like this Christ figure when he's really the devil. And we see at one point, Mac is like, okay, he's not responding. We need to go in there and see what's going on. And pretty much since the sheriff of Rockwell, you know, he was talking to Mac and saying that he was going to go there to visit. But Mac says, no, I'm going to send an agent there with you so you're not in there by yourself. So pretty much Agent Rollins comes down to Rockwell. He acts as a deputy. And then we also got, you know, Billy Polk, who's another deputy. Well, he actually is a deputy, but Billy's a fucking idiot. And Billy is really jealous of Brian because, you know, Brian is from DC. He's literally top notch. Hell, he's above the damn sheriff. And the sheriff knows who Ryan is, but they're playing a role that he's a new deputy and he needs him to go to the compound with him. So while they go inside the damn compound, you know, Sheriff Walker pretty much eats some of the food that Marva made, and I'm like, now you know he gonna get fucked up because Marva drugs everything up in that bitch. She really does. And we see that Agent Rollins meets up with Andrew, and Andrew is so damn aggressive towards him because they've seen each other, but they don't know each other. They kind of grew up around the same place. I think they both are from Jersey, I think. So they kind of seen each other around, but they don't know each other. And we just see that Andrew is just so resistant, so aggressive, you know, towards anything that Brian asks. Like, Brian wanted to check out these, you know, units and stuff that was on the compound, and Andrew was so damn aggressive. And then Daikon says, we have nothing to hide, go ahead. But Andrew was not going to let that shit go, to the point where it looked like Andrew and Brian were going to come to blows for real. And then after they visited and kind of went through the whole compound, we see that damn the damn highest got so damn shook up and so bothered that he literally had one of his little henchmen shoot him up with heroin. He's like, usher me, hurry up. I was like, oh shit, you a fucking junkie, like seriously. Oh my god. And then we see that Marva has a close relationship to the highest. You know, she's like, can I bring you some herbs? I was like, damn bitch, you always trying to give somebody some shit. Damn druggie. I swear she's like the drug pusher of the damn Ruthless crew. It's crazy. But that's what I have, y'all. I mean, I just wanted to give somewhat of a synopsis of what's going on in the show. So therefore, when you see the Oval, you kind of have a clear understanding of what's going on, because he's now ushering in people from Ruthless over to the Oval, and now we're seeing the Rakadushi cult play a role to what's currently going on in the Oval. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear. I am becoming a fan, and shout out to Mr. JTV. He is definitely one person that that has been keeping me up on what's going on Ruthless, and also check out his YouTube channel as well. But that's what I have, y'all. So until next time, everybody, take care.